Up next in Supestember, we're taking a look at the recently released Platinum Edition New 52 Cyborg Superman, Solar Suit Superman, and the glow-in-the-dark mega figure Kryptonite Doomsday. All characters heavily inspired by the Death of Superman comic arc, we'll take a look at each of these DC Multiverse figures in a supersized Superman unboxing and review today on Just BSing. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Supestember on Just BSing. And we've got a supersized unboxing, as we said in the intro today, so we won't keep you waiting too much. And before you say it, we know these aren't the exact characters from the Death of Superman comic arc, but they are obviously heavily inspired by those characters, so it made sense to include them all in one video. So let's take a look at some 360s of all of the figures in the DC Multiverse packaging, and then we will get into the figures individually unboxed. First up is the newest figure of the bunch, New 52 Cyborg Superman, and this is the Platinum Chase version, as can be seen by the Platinum sticker on the box. We'll discuss the differences between this version and the standard version in a bit. Now, this is inspired by Hank Henshaw as Cyborg Superman in the Death of Superman arc, but this Cyborg Superman in the New 52 is Zor-El, Supergirl's father, rather than Hank Henshaw. As always, excellent comic art chosen for the packaging, ripped straight from Action Comics' 23.1 cover, and this one looks great displayed in the box with additional pops of red that this Platinum version has incorporated. I think really stands out. Comic accurate or not, a very nice look, more reminiscent of the Hank Henshaw version of Cyborg.
Next up, we have the oldest figure of the bunch, Solar Suit Superman, which was released in 2022. This one sports an image of the figure in front of the Daily Planet backdrop instead of the usual comic shot on the back of the packaging. While still cool, I love these comic images, so this is a bit of a disappointment. Clearly inspired by the regeneration suit in the Death of Superman comic arc, this version of Solar Suit Superman is the pre-New 52 Kal-El, who returns after the death of the New 52 Superman to reclaim the mantle of Superman. This figure specifically is from the Superman and Lois 8-comic prelude to the DC Universe Rebirth comics that reintroduced the classic Superman after the death of the New 52 Superman.
And finally, the big bad, Kryptonite Doomsday. If it's not obvious by the size of this guy, this is a mega figure. Inspired by the original Doomsday introduced in the Death of Superman, Kryptonite Doomsday is actually a completely different character. Another mild-mannered Kansas farm boy named Joshua Walker, who was made into Kryptonite Doomsday by Amanda Waller in Superman Batman number 48. The figure itself is a retooled, previously released Doomsday mold with a new head sculpt and some other new features, like these nifty kryptonite-infused glow-in-the-dark spikes, which makes for a fun little feature on display. We have the Batman Superman number 48 cover as the box art on the back. An always iconic image of a Doomsday hand causing some kind of destruction. Now, with all of these guys out of their packaging, let's get into the figures for a closer look, and we'll go ahead and start with Cyborg Superman here. As we can see, he does come with a very nice flight stand, and as always, they come with their trading card. So we have the Cyborg Superman of New 52 trading card on the front, same image as the packaging, and on the back, the data file, which does confirm this as Zor-El. Pause to read that if you'd like to do that. And as we said previously, this is the Platinum version of the New 52 Cyborg, and this is actually one that we did not plan to have on the channel at all. Wasn't really searching this one out, but I happened to see one of those McFarlane EQL emails pop up, and I thought, hey, why not? I'll give it a shot. Didn't really expect much from it, didn't expect to get anything, and sure enough, I won. So lucky you and lucky me, this guy gets to come to the channel. And honestly, I'm actually very glad he did. I really like this Platinum version quite a bit. I actually prefer this one to the standard version. That one has some different metallic placing. It looks like probably a little bit more accurate to the Zor-El photo on the comic art, with kind of the jaw being more machine. This one is more, I think, classic Cyborg Superman, like the Hank Henshaw version, and also a little bit Terminator, which I also really appreciate. Yeah. And something that Chris pointed out that I hadn't noticed, this, like I've had it for 2 weeks and never noticed it, he has only one red glowing eye. So that's, again, very Terminator style. I really actually like that little bit of a detail. A little bit more metal placing on the arm and a lot more red on this one. The red boots, more red in the arm. I really think it helps this figure pop out a little bit more than the standard version, which is kind of a more solid blue, a little bit of gray in there. And again, the metal just kind of in different spots. So for me, this one is a much better Cyborg Superman. I do love the flight stand. So I'm, as some of you may know, I've mentioned in past videos, fairly new to the DC Multiverse collection, so I had not purchased any of the Superman figures in the past. So these are kind of my first three, and I was really happy to see that they do come with flight stands. I thought I might have to purchase those separately. I do not, so I'm pretty happy about that. I actually am going to pop him off of this flight stand, take a look at him a little bit closer. Actually really like the cape on this one. With the tatters and tears in it. What are your first impressions, Chris?
I'm pretty much the exact same. Like, this cape is like really awesome because I started seeing most of that from the backside. But as you mentioned, kind of like the Terminator face going on there. Where in the comic he had more of just the Kal-El Superman face instead of so much more of the Cyborg. But yeah, I love this character. This is pretty much, just looking at him right now, this is one's my favorite of the three of them. This is just a really detailed, awesome figure, and yeah, I'm jealous you got it, man.
Yeah, I'm jealous for you, sir. I really like this one. I like it a lot. Now, most of these McFarlane Multiverse figures are going to have the same kind of general points of articulation, so we won't go into it too much. But you got the waist, you got the head that goes up, down, all around. I also just noticed as I was looking at his head, this gnarly looking spine on the back of his neck.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But back to the articulation, it's all fairly similar. You have the double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. You have the toes, ankles, feet, all of the articulation points you could ask for on this one. Shoulders and different kind of rotations of the arms kind of goes all around. You can pretty much get this guy into any pose that you need to get him into. Really like it quite a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and kick off our rating for this. I think, surprisingly, because this was not one that I was looking for, and I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, of the whole New 52 in general, and this is not Hank Henshaw, which is my chosen Cyborg Superman, but this figure itself, this is a so good for me. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. This is so good for me as well. I was a fan of the New 52 for the most part, and about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, I thought it was good, and then of course the ending, I think they butchered it. I did kind of like the change up of it being Supergirl's father. Thing that we kind of forgot about was that he was actually captured by Brainiac and then modified like this. So he was basically a scout for Brainiac to find these advanced civilizations. But it not being Hank Henshaw played into the story with this Superman, which we will be talking about here in a little bit. But yes, another rating for me on that one is a so good as well. Yeah, man, this is one that was a surprising one, but yeah, I really like that a lot. And speaking of liking, if you guys would drop down, give this video a like, hit the subscribe if you haven't done that already. It really helps us out and we really appreciate it. And with that, we will get right back into these figures. And up next is the Solar Suit Superman. Now this one has a little bit more accessories. He comes with a pair of open hands, and these are probably for flight. They are also positioned nicely for choking if he needs to grab anyone and throttle them, but most likely for flight, and also the standard fist hands that he comes with inside the package. And also, of course, his trading card. So we've got the back of the package image, which again, it's not a comic image, and I kind of prefer that. I like when they use those comic images to rip straight from the comics. It kind of adds something to these trading cards and the packaging, but this is a pretty cool picture with that Daily Planet backdrop there. Here's the data file on the back. You can pause to read that. And let's take another closer look at this guy. Again, another flight stand, love that. Now I've got a whole little collection of flight stands building up, and see if I can use those for other figures. I think they might close far enough to actually even work with the superpowers. So there you go.
Maybe we'll try some of those out for some future videos and see how that looks. But this guy is, as Chris mentioned, the original Kal-El coming back into the New 52 universe to kind of reclaim his place as Superman. So kind of it leading up to the Rebirth comic storyline. So this is based obviously off of the regeneration suit from the Death of Superman arc, and I kind of like the way this one looks quite a bit. I like that a little bit of extra silver that's in it. I like the beard. Obviously, it's a good look for people. So I'm digging that beard. I do miss the long hair, I have to say. I know it's a different character technically. Well, I guess actually it is the same character, but it's a different comic. So he's not gonna have the long hair, the mullet, or whatever you want to call it. And I just really like that look for that whole black suit look with the mullet. It's one of those figures we wanted in our superpowers line at some point. But But I can't ding it too much for not having a mullet because it's not based off of that particular comic arc. So I do like the spit curl there, that it's kind of like a separate piece.
That's really cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, how it's not actually on his forehead, it's actually off of it. That's really cool. I like that. Nice detail there.
Pop him off the flight stand, get a little bit of a closer look. Yeah, again, same general points of articulation, same exact ones as the Cyborg, so we won't go too much into that. I like the face sculpt on this. I think in a lot of the DC Multiverse Superman figures that I've seen, McFarlane, sadly, has done him a little dirty in some of those face sculpts. These are not two of them. These are both very nice face sculpts for Superman, or I guess Zor-El in this case, but this Superman has a very nice face sculpt. Yeah, his overall look, I really like that one quite a bit. Obviously not as vibrant as some of the others because of that black suit, but pretty good figure.
Yeah, he is a great one. This is, as you mentioned, one of the characters that we said we would like to see with the superpowers line, being the black suit Superman. Now, reading the storyline with this one, it's actually not a Kryptonian suit, but it's made by the government and Star Labs. So that was pretty cool that Lois was able to get a hold of this as a gift for Superman here. The other thing with the storyline was that Superman and Lois were in the New 52 pretty much the entire time. Obviously, they couldn't go with Kent, so they renamed their name to be White, which was really cool.
In honor of Perry.
In honor of Perry,
very nice.
Exactly. So I thought that was a pretty good storyline overall. It was a good way to kind of reemerge as Superman. After the New 52 Superman died, he took that Superman to the fortress to regenerate, only to find there is no regeneration. So that's why he was able to reclaim that mantle as Superman.
Right. So really glad to actually own this one. This was actually a birthday gift for me. So another that may not have been on the channel had it not been my birthday recently. So very cool. I will kick off the rating again on this one just because it's not quite as vibrant a figure as some of these other ones because of the all black and silver. As much as I like that look for him, I'm going to go ahead and just give this one a good on my end.
I agree. I'm going to give it a good as well.
All right, now we got the big boy. We got the
beefy boy.
Beefy boy. Now this is one that does have some different articulation. Obviously, with all of these bony protrusions in the way, he can't really move quite as well as some of these other figures. So he doesn't have the double jointed elbows. He doesn't have the double jointed knees. He doesn't have the toe articulation or anything like that. But for what he is and how many spikes he has on him, this articulation isn't bad at all. He's got it at the shoulders. They kind of go back up a little bit. Those spikes kind of get in the way. And of course, torso, so you can twist him fully and kind of go back and forth with him there. I did choose to get this one over the original Doomsday that kind of came in a 2-pack with another Superman. One, I wasn't as big a fan of that Superman that was included in that 2-pack. And also, I saw this guy, and I'm a sucker for glow in the dark. I grew up with like glow in the dark figures that were awesome, like in the Ghostbusters line.
It's a cool feature.
It's a cool feature. It's a cool feature. Now, obviously, you won't see it with the studio lights on it, but we will get some shots of that glow in the dark on full display for you guys to take a look at. So this one won me over. And the first thing I noticed when I actually got the figure was how much he looks like the Predator.
Yes.
With these dreadlocks that he has on the back.
That's the same thing I noticed too, is those dreadlocks. Looks a lot like the Predator.
Yeah, it's like Doomsday fused with the Predator. So he's got the Predator braids and the skullet going on. Awesome combination. And he does have mouth articulation. So this is one where you can...
Oh man, look at that.
Open and close the mouth and bite down with some kryptonite teeth. This is a scary foe for any Kryptonian.
Superman and Batman could not defeat him, but Joshua's parents came by and calmed the beast down.
With the power of love.
The power of love.
The comic itself, it may not be as good as this figure is. I really like this figure. Again, this was made from the Doomsday mold originally, different head sculpt, and of course the Kryptonite glowing spikes. Obviously, you can tell by the shorts, this was a Doomsday. Like, this is just straight up Doomsday shorts. Yeah, this is another really good one. I've really liked these mega figures. Now, this one obviously doesn't have the same issue the Darkseid did where his arms were popping off. That Darkseid still got us so good for us because of how great it looked and how much it reminded us of the superpowers. If you're very careful with it, and once you know those arms pop off, not that big of a deal. This does not have that problem, so that's a plus for this one. And man, he's just a big menacing dude. Like you can see these guys are on flight stands and they're not even as tall as he is. So you can tell the scale difference between them. Yeah, I'm really liking this one. This is going to be my second so good of this video. I think this is a so good Kryptonite Doomsday.
Yeah, 100%, man. I got to give him a so good as well. I think he looks really awesome. I really like all these little bony protrusions.
Yeah.
Kryptonite. I really want to see it glowing though. No, okay.
You'll see it when the video comes out.
You'll see. The shorts were really awesome. Comic accurate as well. Size, comic accurate, you know, compared to Superman. So definitely another so good for me as well. I think he's heavy. He's heavy. He's got
a big boy.
Good weight to him.
I think that one's heavier than the Darkseid and the Bane.
So
he feels heavier.
He could probably hold up Superman really easily.
He will definitely hold up Superman very easily. And if you guys want to have a lot of fun and have a really intimidating foe for your superpowers action figures, have him grab some of those Supermen. The 6 or 7 Supermen that we have in the Superpowers line, that would be a pretty devastating foe for those guys. And actually, we did forget to mention and show off his card that he comes with. It is the Batman Superman number 48 cover, just like on the back of the packaging, and his data file, which shows you his real name is Joshua Walker, gives you a little bit more information there. And he does come with a stand himself. This is not a flight stand, obviously. And this is not a stand that will probably even work for him, to be honest with you guys.
It's a little tiny compared to even the flight stand.
It's a little small. It's more likely you can use it as like a manhole cover to throw it.
I was just going to say that exact thing.
Yeah. So that is probably it will hold him up. And the great thing about these McFarlane DC Multiverse figures is you don't really need a stand in most cases. They all stand fine on their own. So use the stand. Don't use the stand. Use it as a manhole cover. Whatever choice you decide on is going to work just fine. And one final look at all of these figures together. Very glad to have these 3 as part of my ever-growing but still very new DC Multiverse collection. Love Superman, love the characters these guys were inspired off of, and love these figures. They all look fantastic.
100%. And because you said that these were characters that were going to be based upon the Death of Superman story arc, I had to represent.
Gotta represent.
Yeah. Had my Death of Superman t-shirt, vintage. So had to wear it for this trio. And man, these are just really great. I'm so happy you got these because these were fun to look at.
Me too, man. Yeah. So guys, let us know if you have any of these figures and what you think of those down in the comments below. We really love to hear from you and your opinions on these figures. We know our opinions don't often match a lot of people, so let us know what you rate these guys down in the comments below. All right, and with all of that out of the way, we can close this one out. Thank you guys so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing, to all of our old subscribers, to all of our new subscribers. We really appreciate you guys. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the Hall of Just BS. Be our friends. We really love it. Small growing channel. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we try to interact with each and every one of you as much as possible and love doing it in every video. So until next time, guys,
have a great one.